Many of y'all know I've been involved in helping to find missing people since, well, pretty heavily since 2014. Now, Hood River Police Department is apparently they're not leaving messages, they're not communicating, and as a result, being as such a small department, you'd think that there would be some sort of, well, you think somebody would have left a note. So I got the recordings from last night that show that they were going to send somebody with someone from the Center for Living. And really, I'd like to turn in the cops and the Center for Living, but they keep pushing it, and pushing it. They need to hear what the people from the Center for Living have to say instead of telling me what the Center for Living is supposed to do. Center of Living needs to listen to what the police have to say and what they're allowed to do, instead of both of them arguing with me over whose job it is to do what, or that it's nobody's job at all, which is obviously not the case. So I'm waiting on them to keep their word again. When I try to explain the situation, they want to continue to talk over me and interrupt me and make sure that I'm not allowed to speak. These people think that if they talk over me enough, that it means that I won't fight turning these crimes anymore. I'll eventually give up. Like hell, it's been 6 years. If I ain't given up in 6 years, they're going to have to kill me to shut me up. They need to get off their asses. They need to do their jobs. They need to actually communicate with each other instead of blowing me off and not even writing a fucking note. I'm tired of my friends dying on the streets. I'm tired of cops doing absolutely nothing. I'm tired of the victims being victimized for coming forward. This human trafficking shit, it's not a joke. It's a very, very big thing here. The United States is the largest human trafficker in the world. Last year alone, San Diego claimed that over 30,000 people were trafficked through their town. 30,000. That's one town in America. Sorry, one city, because some of y'all are going to get all pissed off because I called it a town. That doesn't detract from the real issue, which is human trafficking, which is victim blaming and victim shaming, blatant sexism and racism. But when it all comes down to it, is the racism the actual issue, or is that a byproduct of it? Are these cops getting away with these things because the law is screwed up, or because bias is screwed up and there's no way to enforce bias without body cameras? And then, of course, when you record it, you can show it. If the police record it, you need an act of God to get their recordings. These cops want to hide the fact that they didn't do their job. Everywhere in the United States, they want to do this. And then somehow magically it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's never their fault when they don't show up. It's never their fault when they don't keep their word. When you're not able to keep yours, though, because they screwed up, well, they don't have any remorse about that. They don't care. It's your fault. It's got to be your fault that they didn't do their fucking jobs. Just call their victims mentally ill and magically it makes it all okay. And that's why there needs to be someone here with me to make these reports. There needs to be someone here with me when I speak to the police. And preferably it needs to be somebody who is familiar with their Nazi-ass tactics. If you're going to make excuses for their tactics without understanding what they're for or why they use them, you're of no use to anybody. Anyway, I hope they keep their word. I hope they send somebody. Obviously, when I was talking to that lady on the phone, she said they were sending somebody out. But, even with my head right next to it, with the traffic going by, I couldn't hear what she was saying. Even with my head right next to it, I could barely hear what she's saying. It's the ambient noise. And obviously, that's not her fault that I'm having to deal with that. It's also not my fault. I didn't choose this. I didn't choose to be victimized into this position. I didn't choose to be lied to. I didn't choose to be assaulted. I chose to try to get help. And I've gone through 6 years of victimization for it.